Why is the housing market so hot right now? I mean, you're not the only one scratching your head, and everyone's got a different take on it. And most of them are wrong, or at very best, they just don't know the whole story. Further, people make it much more complicated than it actually is. It's super simple. And once you understand it, you'll know almost exactly how long it is going to be hot. So I'm gonna let you in why the market is so hot. And perhaps even more importantly, you'll understand what to pay attention to so you'll be able to reasonably predict exactly when it is going to shift. And predict better than the pros even. Certainly better than that guy on the news. So the first thing is understanding what makes a market so hot, like the one that we're in right now. What makes the market hot is when we just have more buyers than we have properties available for sale. It's the simple concept of supply and demand. Right now, supply is really low, demand is really high, and that's an environment for high appreciating prices. So right now, when it comes to demand, there are more people at peak home buying age than the planet has ever seen. And specifically, I'm referring to the millennial generation. You see, the average first-time homebuyer's age is 31 years old, and the peak of the millennial generation is age 29. So what that says just right there, we're going to have this demand. It's actually going to intensify a little bit more for the next 24 months at least. And then you have Generation Z, that is a much bigger generation than the millennials even. You see, the media, they're lying about population growth. You see, there's this old book called How to Lie with Statistics. And I think the media, they read that book, and I think they read it every single day. Because what they're saying is, which is factual, that the percentage of the population growth is definitely shrinking. But the number of people is absolutely growing. That's what's actual. Because if you went back 20 years and you had, say, a 10% population growth from the year before at 100 million people, here we are 20 years later, and you might have gone from 10% to 7%, but that's 7% of 200 million people. So that's still a bigger number. The population is growing and growing and growing. Further, that population, the demand, is being fueled by record low interest rates. And contrary to popular belief, despite the rising prices of property, houses today are more affordable than they've been, particularly when adjusted for inflation, than in the last 30 years. And on top of that, people aren't stopping with buying just one home. No, they're buying second homes. They're buying vacation homes. They're buying investment properties. The population growth, the ideal money conditions, plus the demand for these second, third, and fourth houses is fueling demand like this world has never seen before. Now, before I move on to the second reason as to why the market is so hot right now, if you're really serious about making money in real estate, let me know. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, because I keep my audience up to date with the latest market conditions, and we release videos on it each and every week, and you don't want to miss it. Now, when it comes to supply, we simply don't have enough houses to feed this hunger for real estate. You see, on average, the US built 250,000 homes fewer each year for the last 20 years than they did the previous 30 years to that. And what that has done, it's created a huge deficit. Had building continued these last 20 years as it did those previous 30, there would be 5.5 million more homes available on the market today. And to make up that shortage, the National Association of Realtors recently released a study that we would have to build 2.1 million homes a year for the next 10 years just to normalize the market. And just when we thought it couldn't get worse, it does by a little bit more. You see, we've got the rising cost of building materials. Copper is rising, the cost of cement is rising, and we all know the price of lumber has risen. And what that's doing, it's having an impact on builder confidence, because builders aren't so confident that they can pay these new prices to build a house at today's expenses and then be able to resell them at a profit. And that's what builders do. They build low and sell high. They've got to make a profit, or what's the use? So when you have enough demand already walking the earth to maintain the desire for housing for the next couple decades, and homes aren't being built fast enough to satisfy that demand, the housing market, it's gonna remain hot, probably well into the future. There is one caveat, and this might be a glimmer of hope if you've been out on the market looking to buy a property. The big variable that could change everything is the government's monetary policy, whether that be through the printing of money or the lack of it, or the increasing of interest rates. So it's those two things, or a combination thereof, could change everything. But until it does, the market, it's gonna stay on fire. Now, there is one more possibility for you. To increase your likelihood of finding a property at a good price with minimal competition, you might want to consider looking off market. That's how we do it here. I actually talk about that quite a lot on this channel. And these strategies, they're timeless. They've always worked and they still work today. You just have to know what they are and then you have to put them to work. And to give you a little help, what I've done is I've put a link to a video down below that shows you step by step on how to find off-market properties. So what did you find most surprising? Share with me in the comments below. And who else do you know that needs to see this? When their name comes to mind, please share it with them. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.